Back with another episode of Real-Time Design. For the next 30 minutes, you're gonna watch me inside Photoshop. You're gonna get insight into my design process from start to finish. Uncut, unedited footage. This is not planned out ahead of time, aside from some assets I've pulled for this video. Today's subject is gonna be Justin Burnett of the Atlanta Hustle. With that, let's get into it. So let's take a look at our player cutouts in this folder. We've got a lot of good emotion shots from Justin Burnett. That's kind of why I chose him as a subject for this video, was just looking through hustle photos, and there are a lot of good options. I really like this one to start, this kind of like yelling, crouching down. I think that'll work really nicely in sort of a vertical composition. Now, if we want to add some more cutouts just to see if we like that, this one jumps out to me right away because it's going off to one side, like he's gesturing towards the left. And so I could see this like working behind our front cutout, and then maybe a bigger one if we do a 3 cutout stack that can be arranged nicely. So for this ratio, you've probably seen me do this in other videos, but I want to use the 1.6 ratio, approximately the golden ratio, and size these heads about the same, and then go up to my percentages here, type in multiply by 1.6, and just like that. We've got some hierarchy, and I'm gonna use this pointing cutout as sort of the biggest one that will probably draw the viewer's eye in first. So again, let's multiply this by 1.6. And that feels pretty balanced to me. We want this one in the way back, and just adjusting these. So I want to center this bottom one, and we can also fade out the 2 back ones as a starting point, just to get a general idea of how these can look together. So I'm just dropping these into a folder, throwing a mask on there, and then we'll do a black to transparent gradient. So, I mean, this feels pretty balanced right off the bat. I don't know if I'd want to do anything different than this. And as far as other elements go, I do have a textures folder open, and I recently downloaded, let's see, demodified. Yeah, it's this Atlanta background, which we can maybe use. I don't want to feel forced to include some sort of city background, but definitely an asset I thought of before this design. If it ever wants to load, that would be great. We can get on with this video. There we go. Okay, so got Atlanta. I just want to see how that works in the background. And now I'm wondering if we can kind of like are there elements of this photo that we can use to sort of cut off parts of the cutouts instead of doing a gradient fade? So if we take away this gradient fade, let's say we just wanted to use just dropping a mask over that part of Atlanta, and then maybe we can, honestly, let's cut out, maybe we don't, yeah, let's cut it out. Let's do a select subject on this. Doesn't want to do it, okay. Maybe it needs the mask off. I just want to select the buildings, basically. So, and honestly, I just want to have like a rough idea of whether or not this is going to work. So let's do something like this to start, and blow this up, and then drop it into a folder so we can kind of make a clean cut separation. And maybe this will work as a sort of background element. And then my initial thought was to use, maybe it's not big enough, honestly. I was going to use this as like a way of chopping up the cutouts and separating it, but maybe a logo is better, honestly. Let's just keep that hidden for now. I want to bring up my libraries. I have all the UFA team logos nicely categorized in the libraries here, so just want to bring up the Hustle logo. Let's see if we can put the cutouts in the logo in a way that makes sense. So it's got a nice big H shape, and I do think this can work if we size it down a little bit, and we can kind of have them popping out too. So from here, let's delete this mask. Let's put a mask on the back cutouts. That is putting them in this H. And then I just want to like fill in these blanks so it doesn't look weird and we're not cutting off anything important. But yeah, maybe something like this. I mean, we can honestly, can we bring back, we probably shouldn't bring back more of his body, because if you do that, you kind of need some nice split there. And you know, this sort of works. It's just sort of like the edge of his jersey, but I think it's a little cleaner if we just keep it like that. I'm a little worried about this bottom portion, but maybe we just need to move it up a bit just to separate it from our front cutouts more. And we can take the whole thing and shrink it just so it's fitting in our canvas better. But yeah, like this, I think this is kind of a cool look. Let's shrink it down a good amount so we have some room for text at the top and bottom of the design. But let's see this, this margin, we're gonna do a 3-box margin from either side, approximately. So let's blow it up a little bit more. Command apostrophe, by the way, is a shortcut for your grids. You'll see me doing that a lot throughout my designs. And I'm trying to figure out where I want this cutout compared to where the H is. I mean, we could fade out the whole H image just to give a little bit more difference between the background and the foreground. It's an okay look. I don't know. Maybe I'll decide on that later. I think let's leave it for now. And I just want to move it. Yeah, probably. I mean, the thing is, we could, if we brought it way down, we could use our front cutout to just take away this bottom chunk of the H that's sort of overlapping. Let's see if that looks any better. I'm just trying to be strategic and like how the cutouts are being masked. And I'm trying to do it in a way where I don't have to do a gradient fade. Yeah, but see, now we're like messing with the logo too much. So I'm actually gonna undo that. I think it's okay, just having front cutout there and the whole thing like this. It's just like this gap of white that I don't love, but maybe there's some other elements we can drop in and fill it. And also, I think moving them over actually helps, because then you could see a bit more of the logo. Just this bottom corner feels a little bit more, we're just giving it room to breathe, honestly. So I think I like this look. Let's get into our player retouching. So I'm gonna drop let's go to camera raw filter first. Go click on your guy, filter, camera raw filter. This is our front cutout we're gonna work on first, which is a pretty dark photo. So I do wanna brighten it up with some exposure. And let's lift the shadows so we can see them better. Can zoom in on here as well. So just wanna add a little bit of texture and clarity, not too much. And then I do wanna reduce the noise and try to go with this like smoother look, which I don't know if I'm in a phase of just doing these smoother looks to cutouts or if this is just how I design now, but I've been into it recently. So we're gonna do similar player treatments for all 3 cutouts. Let's go back to our middle one, some noise reduction. This one we'll have to tweak the colors too, but we can do that outside of camera raw filter with selective color. Bring up some texture and clarity with this as well. And then honestly, the lighting conditions I feel like are similar enough on this middle cutout and the big cutout in the background that we could probably just copy and paste these same camera raw filter settings over to the big one too. At least as a starting point. So I'm just holding Option, clicking and dragging, and then applying it to this smart object as well. So now for the skin tones, let's use, we can use this guy as a reference point, our middle one. And we want to add some yellow to the back cutout. Jersey color, that's pretty well matched. I don't feel anything to do there. So let's go to our front cutout, another selective color layer, clipping it, holding Option, hovering in that space and clicking. And again, we'll get some more yellow in there. And I think a little more magenta as well. So I'm just trying to match these colors. This is not going to be the final coloring of these cutouts, but just to get everyone on the same page before I do some master adjustments. I think the blues are going to be needing to tweak a little more on the purple side to match his friends back here. So that's feeling better to me. Let's group all of this into a players folder. Now we can play with the coloring on all three of these. So can play with the reds for the skin tones, typically boost the cyans in the negative way to like get the reds out, and then I think lowering the yellows so it's more of a natural skin tone look rather than too yellowy. I think that's feeling pretty good to me. Then I think the jersey color we're probably okay with, but we do want to match it with this logo is the thing. The problem is their jersey color was not the Hustle purple that's in their logo. So I think let's just tweak it because it'll look better if everything is more in harmony as far as the colors go. So I'm just tweaking these sliders in the blues, and that's feeling closer. It's not going to be perfect. At least I don't make it perfect, especially in a 30-minute design video, but let's see what we can do here. Okay, I think around there feels pretty good to me. So just trying to think what other direction I want to take this graphic. We are going to need some text, of course. Part of me has been wondering if there's a signature or maybe some kind of logo treatment we could do to this back logo. If we didn't want it just like, I guess I have this players folder, but that also includes the logo. That's fine, we'll remember that. You know, maybe there's some coloration we want to do here. We could play with it. I mean, honestly, you could like eyedropper the purple from the jersey, kind of have that like deep purple tone running throughout. These are also inverted colors now because the black is on the wrong side, but yeah, it's sort of interesting. Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't know. I think it's an option, but maybe we leave it off for now. I do think the background should have something, and also we need to get some foot shadows on our front cutout. So let's go in, add a new layer, and take our brush. We're gonna do a nice flat, soft brush. Drop our flow down to, I don't know, 6 or so. Switch to a black foreground color, and we're just gonna start painting on the feet here. Both feet, and then we'll get the disc as well. And of course you want the darker parts of the shadow to be the points that are actually touching the ground. So don't be afraid to really darken those up. And then the disc, I don't know if it's off the ground or on the ground. Maybe it's slightly off, so we can kind of just do like a subtle drop shadow like that. And I do kind of want some like overall shadow going across the whole cutout. Maybe we can make this one a little bit slimmer. So something around there. And probably gonna wanna rotate this so it fits more between the feet. And then, I don't know, you can get really like technical about the shadows. Maybe his butt is sticking out a little bit. So you might have like a little bit of shadow going more behind the feet. But I think that's a fine, rough floor shadow for our front cutout. I'm just gonna group this whole thing, call it front cutout. And I do want to play with the lighting a bit. I'm also not positive that I want to stick with a white background. I think let's just see like black background or maybe like a dark gray background I could see being kind of cool if we did like a some sort of like shadowy gradient. Sometimes I just like to make a curves layer and drop in like sort of random shadows. Maybe it's darker up at the top if we increase our flow back to 100, lighter at the bottom. I think this is definitely sort of a darker, moodier look. We could go with white is just so classic. It's the thing. Like it never looks bad. Maybe there's something we could do with the logo and just like making it a little bigger with a stroke potentially. Let's see. Duplicating the logo. I'm just gonna put a stroke around this one. We can eyedropper the same purple that is already used, but I'm gonna drop the fill down to 100 or down to 0 from 100. And now this kind of gives like an interesting burst to the design, which is maybe cool. I haven't really decided yet, but I think it's a direction. It's a direction. I'll leave it at that. It's a direction we could go. I think let's run with something like that for now. I do think there should be some text, maybe at the bottom. So just as far as the overall composition goes, maybe we can lift up, well, maybe let's lift up the players and the logo outline we did. And that way we can drop some text maybe at the bottom, but maybe it makes sense to have like something in this little space. If we move the front cutout over, this is kind of nice because his leg is in line with the curve. It would allow us to like give a little bit of text blurb there. Yeah, maybe let's try it. It's like a little off balance, like it's not totally symmetric, but I don't know if I mind it. So before I started this design, I went into our website archives and found this blurb of text and kind of edited it. So I want to copy and paste that from my text edit window, just as like a block of text that we can have in the design, just something to play with that makes it feel a little bit more postery. And I'm going to use this like full justification paragraph text setting. I think for the font, we can use something simple like maybe Montserrat. And see how that looks. I don't love Montserrat, honestly. Maybe it needs to be like if this will ever let me click on it. I don't know if you all have been having issues with like the new Photoshop update where the blue smart guides pop up all the time. Let's try Cool Vatica. But it has been a little annoying to me. I think the spacing is a little tight. Probably need it looser. 12 point, no, 13. Okay, I think that works. So maybe we have this like little text blurb here. I think, see, the problem is it needs like a title to it too. Like we got to put his name somewhere nice and visible. And see, maybe it is a little weird if the cutout and sort of the direction of the graphic is a little bit too far to the left, but then you put the text on the right. I may be overthinking it. Thing is, like, I'd want to like uncenter this main block, which could be okay. I guess let's run with it for now, and let's just see. I think we can make this purple. Yeah, and I just want to line this up so it's like, I guess we can use this as a justification point, but maybe it's too, yeah, maybe something a little more inward is better. I know I said that 3-box margin before, but now I'm thinking 2-box based on us shifting our whole clump over to the left. So let's do 2 boxes, a little over 2 boxes. And something like that. We can justify this over here. And let's give a title of Justin Burnett. Needs to be more interesting, though, is the problem. can make it heavy. Go back to 0 spacing. I think you need a little bit though. And probably put the player number just to add a little bit something to the title. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about this. I feel like we need a little bit more font variety, so maybe we need like a signature font to play with. I'm gonna go in, I haven't downloaded signature fonts in a long time. I think I have this one called Arty Signature. I know I also have Allison script, Justin Burnett. This one's kind of small and tough to read, but okay. What about Allison script? Can't remember where I downloaded these fonts from. I apologize, but this one's okay. Maybe this one can just go like across our design. If we change the color to probably the Hustle orange, or you know what? They used I don't know if I have it here. They used like a lavender color this year, which I might just try and like approximate something in like this range where, you know, it's still a type of purple, so it feels like it fits more in the theme of the graphic, but also true to their brand guidelines, at least for this year. I think I want to tilt this up. Maybe we need to make it a little bit more bold too. So I'm just going to Command J, duplicate it, and then hit the arrow key once to the right and down. And now we've got a signature folder, and can kind of skew this up. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. I still don't love this text area is the thing. Maybe we just need like a wider title font. I mean, I could use Euro style. I know I'm kind of getting a little too much into different fonts, but I do like Euro style as like a nice wide font. Well, maybe I should just change this text to Euro style too. Let's go Euro style medium. I mean, that looks okay to me. It's a little bit more interesting than what we had before. Just the cool Helvetica. Call this folder text block. And I'm a little worried about time because there's still like some more elements I could be adding to this. Just want to give it like a little bit more room to breathe. Maybe our players move up slightly. I think that's okay. I feel like I could fit, you know, some smaller text just down here at the bottom. Let's just type out Justin Burnett, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Atlanta, Hustle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then let's command paste that a few times. And let's go one more. So we have this like repeating text at the bottom, sort of a nothing type of element, but can help. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bring a little bit more to that empty space, fill that void. Probably want to line it up with the margins we've established too. And let's take off one of these just to make it a little bit bigger, a little bit more legible. But yeah, something around here. Just centering it and matching up these margins. That feels pretty good to me. I'm still trying to think, like this font maybe just needs to be a little bit taller is the thing, like more spaced out vertically. That's maybe feeling better. I think the spacing of the front cutout too. Yeah, I think that's good. I mean, at this point, maybe I should just dump the this part of the logo. Just this edge, because because I don't think it really helps anything, and I don't think it hurts to take it away. Just kind of cleans up this area. So let's move the signature up a little bit, and I kind of want to add some, like, I still don't know if I like this stroke. Maybe I don't, or maybe I would like it if it was just a little bit more out of the way or faded in some way. If we put it in a folder, drop a mask on it, and then, yeah, I don't know. It might be a lost cause. Thought it'd be fun to have like some kind of extra stroke in the background. I don't have to delete it, but let's keep things there. And I don't know how I feel about this not being totally centered. I do want to add some like overall lighting to the players. I didn't really get into that much, but let's take our curves layer, and I'm just gonna kind of brush on areas that I think would be nice when lit up. Just trying to bring certain points of emphasis, like the face and the point. I think all the faces could do with some brightness. Then we could also add an inner glow on some of these. So the front cutout, for sure, inner glow. We'll do overlay for the type, and then, yeah, just make sure it's set to white. Just separates it a little bit more from the cutouts in the background, and then we could try it, see how it looks on our back cutouts as well. Inner glow on that one, and inner glow on that one. Yeah, I think I like that. As far as the background goes, I mean, just so it's not perfectly white, let's drop gradient overlay. This is honestly like an interesting direction to take the graphic. This is just the default gradient that came up. But let's go with a black to white. I'm gonna make this more of like a dark gray, just so we have like some lighting conditions. Honestly, let's do a radial one, so we have it coming more like from the middle, and then sort of vignetting out to the outside. So I think this is like pretty clean. At this point, you know, we gotta finish up soon, so let's throw a dots texture on here, just to give it a little bit something extra. Set this to multiply, I think, unless we want, yeah, I think that's good. And I just want to drop a mask over this and fade it out at the bottom a little bit. And really it could be underneath. We'll keep it on top of everything. Last thing, I'm just gonna stamp everything onto its own layer. Filter, camera raw filters, and then filter, or sorry, convert for smart filters, then camera raw filter. Let's just do some master effects here, and can play with these settings just to wrap this thing up. Texture and clarity. So it doesn't feel like a totally finished design to me, but I'm relatively happy with how it came out. Honestly, maybe we need the dots texture to just be below everything and just on the background. And then let's blur the signature to give it some more depth too. Really running up close on time here, but bear with me. Actually, let's do a radial blur. Radial blur, zoom. Yeah, I think that's fine. Maybe we duplicate it just to give it a little bit more visibility. Now we're gonna make a new layer, stamp it, smart filters, camera raw filter, and then I think we could just, or actually, let's hit OK and just drag on this previous camera raw filter where we made those adjustments already. So that is gonna do it for our finished poster design. Justin Burnett, Atlanta Hustle. Let me know what you think, and I appreciate you watching as always.